Alright guys, we are back today with the Maverick. As you can see, as the title says, this is going to be a how to change your oil on the Maverick Hybrid. So, the truck has a little over 2,000 miles on it, and it's a little bit later than I would like to do on a newer vehicle, but it is a hybrid, so you're really not, all those miles are not gas engine miles, but it is winter and the engine is running a lot. So let's go ahead and do the first oil change at around 2,000 miles, get all that factory oil out and fill it up with some nice fresh stuff. So the oil we are using right now today in the hybrid, it's going to call for 0W20, and on oil filter, your filter number is going to be an FL-910S. It's a Motorcraft, obviously, and we do have O'Reilly's right now just because O'Reilly's did not have Motorcraft. So this is what I could get to do the video. And unfortunately, they didn't have the exact same oil there, but it's 0.20, so we're going to make it work with the truck. So let's go ahead and get it up on ramps and get started. I mentioned that the truck does call for 5.5 quarts of oil. All right, that was a one-take ramp roll up too. That was super flawless. Between the wet tires and kind of the wet floor, these plastic ramps don't like to work, so we do have kind of it set up with some mats underneath to give it some grip. But what we'll do here is go ahead and pop the hood, pull that twice. Mileage, as you can see, 2,000 miles. So once we get under the hood, we are going to go ahead and take our prop rod right here. We're using both hands. This is a two-hand job. But once we are up here, we'll go ahead and take a look at it. This is your hybrid engine right here. As you can see, it does call for 0.20 on the cap. We're not going to do a 0.30 or a 5.30, even though you can put that oil in this engine. We're going to do what the book says. So let's go ahead and get underneath of it. That's what we have to do now. So now that we have the truck all where we need it to be to service it, we're going to go ahead and take a T27 Torx bit, and we're going to go under the truck. And per usual, there's going to be all these Torx screws along the underbelly right there. So I'm going to put you on a fast forward motion here, and we'll take this off. As you can see, it's pretty salty still, but let's go ahead and get this oil done on the truck. It looks a lot easier than the FX4 Maverick I had. So looking forward to this oil change. Alright, as you can see guys, that cover came off pretty easy. I was working on a little nub right there. There's a nub that sits right on top of that stamped piece of metal right there. So that's how we will put it back on. As you can see, that's the little flap right there. It goes right over top of this. So, looking under the hybrid now. This is my first look at it. And I say that underbelly does a pretty good job at keeping everything pretty clean. Obviously, we are driving through the salt belt, so it's already pretty salty. But looking at it, there's your hybrid underneath. There's your oil filter right up top. Looks insanely easy to service, much more so than maybe say along the lines of like an oil change like the EcoBoost Maverick I had. The oil filter was a little more forward-facing, so that's going to be pretty nice to get up and grab a hold of. But yeah, there's the underbody of the Maverick Hybrid. Let's go ahead and get this filter off now. Alright, so now we're going to take the drain plug out, which is going to require a 15 millimeter. And I'm just going to go ahead and break that factory seal, which really was not all that tight. So, see if we can do this without making any mess. right, we saved the bolt. And that is what we have running out of it. Honestly, that's pretty dark stuff. So we'll go ahead and let this drain out for a minute. So I will see if I can show you kind of the comparison between the two. So the factory one is a lot smaller, and in that case the size and the diameter, which is why I had to use pliers to get this thing off. So yeah, there's that reasoning there, but let's go ahead and get our gasket all ready to go back onto the surface up there. Go ahead and twist it on. Hand tighten it just enough. All right, let's take our oil filter adapter, tighten it up just a little bit, just a little more than a snug. There we go, it looks like it's on. We'll call that good. We'll throw our drain plug back in. I think it's pretty well emptied out. So now we're going to go ahead and take 5 quarts of this right here. We're going to dump this all in. We'll probably come back and add another half of this. So let's go ahead and dump it in. Alright, so right now as the truck sits, we have 5 quarts in it. So before we dump anything else into it, I took the truck down off the stands, check the oil level, and just kind of see where we are at. It's almost like it's full, so I'm gonna dip it in one more time, but this just might be a 5-quart oil change here. It's looking still a little low, so let's go ahead and top it off a little bit. And right there, I would say. So not exactly 5.5 quarts, but maybe a little bit more. It's hard to focus up and down there, but you can see the oil's on the dipstick. So we're gonna call that an oil change right there. Definitely wanna get 5.5 though, and add just a little bit of extra in there. So guys, that's gonna be the oil change on the Maverick. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cap back on. Kind of get everything buttoned up here, but for the most part, pretty easy oil change. And really, when I took that underpan off, I was looking at the truck underneath, and I can imagine this thing's going to be pretty easy to repair down the road. There's a lot of room under the hood of this thing, so definitely maintenance is going to be pretty cool, I think, to work on yourself, which is pretty refreshing. in new cars today. But even looking at the old oil, I mean, that stuff was just black coming out. And, you know, it's probably still fine, but, you know, that's what it looks like, so that's what it is. But guys, I hope this video helped you out one way or another. Let's go inside and reset the oil life, and that'll probably wrap the video up. All right, once you're in the truck, you can have the vehicle on. We're gonna go over here to the settings. So the settings right here. You're gonna hit this little button right here. Go to information, down to oil life. As you can see, we were at 77, so let's go ahead and reset it. There we are, guys. We are back to 100%. Now we have another probably, I don't know, 5 to 7,000 miles on this oil. So guys, I hope that was a helpful, informative video to some point. But that was just kind of a rough idea of an oil change on the Maverick Hybrid. So guys, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all later.